Hello, my loves. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome in to this video for the solar shift into Sagittarius. So first things first, if you are new, hi, welcome in. It is wonderful to have you here. What we're going to be doing is talking a little bit about astrology, and then we are going to be using our own astrology, learning about it, and then tapping into the spiritual tools of the oracle cards to get guidance on how to best utilize our personal astrology during this season. So if this is your first time here, you may want to go watch my tutorial video on how to get the most out of these readings. It is not necessary, but it's a tool there for you if you want to know how to engage with this material in a deeper way. For those who are not new, hello, welcome back. It is so wonderful to have you guys here. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's a pleasure for me to offer this support in this way. It brings me so much joy, and I hope you guys all know how much I truly love you, care for you, and am excited for your journeys. If you want to support me, there's many ways you can do that. Just engage with this material. Share it with people you think it will align with. You can also comment on it and let me know what is resonating for you, what questions you have. You can also donate if you feel inspired at paypal.me/devotedvulnerable. Link is in the description. And you can go to my website, devotedandvulnerable.com/services. Link is in the description if you want to learn more about the services that I offer. I offer card readings, I offer guided meditations, I offer a bunch of different other things, so go there and check it out if you feel called. No pressure. With all that being said, let's jump into Sagittarius season. I'm so excited to bring this energy to you guys. Sagittarius is my favorite sign. I am totally biased. I am a Sagittarian sun. I'm a Mercury Sagittarius. I'm a Saturn Sagittarius, and I'm a Uranus Sagittarius. So I am quite Sagittarian in my astrological makeup. Don't worry if that didn't make sense to you. Basically, I have a lot of Sag energy. So let's talk about what a solar season is. A solar season is when the sun, the spotlight of our solar system, is in a particular sign. The solar season of Sagittarius will start on November 22nd when the sun moves into the sign of Sagittarius, and it will last until December 21st, until the solstice, when the sun will then move into the sign of Capricorn. So during this solar month, and I will refer to this as the month as we go through these readings. So please understand when I say this month, I do mean solar month, November 22nd to December 21st. We're going to be focusing on the Sagittarian energy, the Sagittarian archetype. So your readings are going to be based on where Sagittarius shows up for you in your chart. Essentially what planets, the sun, the moon, and or your rising sign exist in the sign of Sagittarius. Now, if you do not know what planets and aspects you have in the sign of Sagittarius, do not worry. This is part of what we do here in these readings. We learn about our astrology. To get caught up with your own astrology, to get access to your own chart, to know how to read it and find out what planets are in this sign, watch my tutorial video. I have this tutorial video created for how to find your birth chart information on astro.com. Link is popping up here, and it is also in the description if you want to go and enter in your birth data to that site. And you do need to know your birth time in order to access this information. So go ahead and watch my how to find your birth time tutorial to get caught up on how to find your birth time so that you have something to work with the chart generator. So we're going to be spotlighting the sign of Sagittarius by finding out what planet, the sun, the moon, and or the rising sign is in Sagittarius. You will watch the readings and the explanations for every single planet that you have in Sagittarius. So for example, I mentioned that my sun's in Sagittarius, so is my Mercury, so is my Saturn, and so is my Uranus. So technically I have 4 readings this month because I have 4 planets in the sign of Sagittarius. I know that might be a lot of information for you, but this is when the sun, the spotlight of our galaxy, is really highlighting these elements and aspects of your life. So it's really fun to dive into how this is showing up in your life, how this archetype may be expressing itself through you, through the planets. I'll describe in each video what the planet in the sign of Sagittarius really means before I dive into the reading and the advice. If you do not have your sun, the moon, your rising sign, or any of the planets in the sign of Sagittarius, there's a video for you called Background Sagittarius. I'll explain in that video what that means, but you can watch that video if you don't have any of those aspects. So a little bit more about Sagittarius. You want to look at your Sagittarian suns for this entire month as well. Watch how they shine. Watch how they act during this time. So anyone with a birthday between November 22nd and December 21st, I call it spying on the solar sign, so that you can really learn more about this energy. The Sagittarian archetype is the archetype of the archer. And the archer has this bow and arrow that it's aiming. And what is it aiming at? It's aiming at anything it wants to. But the thing that Sagittarius loves to aim at the most is truth. We love to aim at truth. Truth is one of our favorite things to aim at. It is essentially the energy of this archer and or centaur. So we can be adventurous. The Sagittarian sign is adventurous, congenial, which means likable, dreamy, very, very idealistic, very, very focused on what it is that we are wanting in our lives. We are optimistic. We're always looking at the positive side of things, and we are intellectual. So I say we because, yes, I am in the Sagittarian archetype, but this is going to show up somewhere in your life as well. So it refers to you as well, no matter where it shows up in your chart. So the modality of the Sagittarius, meaning the way that this energy expresses, is through the modality of what's called mutable. You see the little arch with the dot underneath it up there. And that's the symbol for mutable. Mutable signs are always the signs that happen during a change in seasons. So in the Northern Hemisphere, Sagittarius happens between the change from fall to winter. It's not quite winter yet, and fall's kind of winding down. And so the energy of the Sagittarius is very changeable, mutable, very adaptable. It's constantly shifting. The element of the Sagittarius is fire. It's represented here by the triangle. The triangle is the flame going up towards the sky. And so the element of fire represents the spiritual world, the spiritual realm. So when we put those two together, we have this changing spirituality. That is a lot of the essence of the Sagittarian archetype. Not only are we focused on truth, you have to be a seeker of knowledge in order to gain this truth. Through adventure and experience, we learn in our lives. And so it's this ever-changing spiritual nature of the Sagittarian archetype that we're going to be exploring and spotlighting for this entire solar month. I created a little explanation page here for you guys to show you a few different elements of the Sagittarian archetype. So you see here the symbol represented by the arrow. Next to it, we have, of course, the archetype, the archer. The planet that rules Sagittarius is the planet of Jupiter. Jupiter is all about expansion. It's all about luck. It's all about making things big and bright and energy. So the Jupiter energy is this amazing hugeness in our galaxy, in the story of the zodiac. And so it rules the Sagittarian sign because they're so very similar in their energies. The key word for Sagittarius is idealized. I would also say that the key word is truth. You can see here the constellation of Sagittarius. And again, we have the element of fire represented by the triangle, the modality of mutable, that changeable energy represented by the half circle and the dot, and the house of Sagittarius. So each zodiac sign represents or rules a house. So they go in the order of the zodiac story. So Aries is the first sign in the zodiac story, so it represents the first house. Sagittarius is the 9th sign in the zodiac story, so it rules and represents the 9th house. You can think of the planet as the what of your zodiac story, the sign as the how that what expresses, and the house as the where. So the where of the ninth house is very Sagittarian in energy. It is all about learning, travel, adventure, spirituality. It can deal with mental health. It can deal with higher learning. That is where the energy of the ninth house represents and shows up in our lives. Now, more about the houses will come through in my moon readings. The new moon in Sagittarius happens a day after this solar shift. So after you watch these videos, you definitely are going to want to watch the new moon in Sagittarius video, where we are going to be focusing on the house energies, where this new moon is showing up for us in our lives, and the advice that's coming through for the lunar phase of Sagittarius, which is going to start one day after the solar phase. All right. So for this reading, we are going to be consulting the Isis Oracle by Alana Fairchild. And if readings aren't your thing, please feel free just to watch the explanation of your energy and let yourself play with how that expresses throughout your solar month. But we can also use the cards to get more insight on how to really capitalize on this energy. The Isis Oracle wanted us to focus on freedom this solar phase. So freedom is a huge theme of the Sagittarian archetype. I haven't really talked about it yet, but it deals with this expansion. In order to be free, you have to be able to expand. In order to expand, you have to be able to be free. If you're confined, you're not able to expand and you're not free. So we're going to focus on how to get ourselves to open up to a more free way of living. That is what the Isis Oracle really wants to bring to us for this solar season of Sagittarius. So in order to focus on this freedom, the Isis Oracle is going to bring us this little poem, this little affirmation to say throughout our solar phase, to really activate within us this free expression that we are looking to embody during this Sagittarian season. This is a very, very powerful deck, and I am excited to share the medicine, the power, and the beauty and the wisdom that this deck has to offer. We have covered everything that we're going to cover here in this explanation video, and we're going to dive into our individual readings. Welcome into your reading, Moon in Sagittarius. If you're already familiar with the Moon in Sag energy, you can scroll ahead to the reading. So the moon in the astrological story represents our emotions, and your emotions express themselves through the Sagittarian archetype, which we've already described as this adventurous, congenial, idealistic, optimistic, and intellectual energy. Your emotions are like changing fire, changing spirituality. You're constantly updating your spiritual beliefs, your philosophies, through different experiences, through different things that you're studying and learning, and the adventures that you're going on. Your heart, your emotions love to know things, love to explore things. Your emotions have an optimistic lens. You are idealistic when it comes to how you express your heart. You really are hoping for the best outcome. And you love adventure. Your heart really longs for this adventure. And adventure can mean adventure through a book. It can mean travel. It can mean just experiences. It doesn't have to mean, like the Lord of the Rings adventure kind of stuff. But it does mean that your heart does long to have different experiences. Because of this changing energy, your heart loves to be constantly shifting, especially around the theme of spirituality, which is this vibration of the philosophical realm, the why are we here energy? What are we here to do? This is what lights you up. Your heart loves to aim at truth. Your heart has this little bow and arrow inside of it, and it is focused on truth. So anytime that you walk away from the quest for truth, it might hurt your heart. Your heart might struggle. Your heart is always guiding you and always reorienting you towards this truth, toward this Sagittarian energy and archetype. And I always like to tell people that one sign and one planet is like a breadcrumb of your astrological cake. There's so many different aspects that go into how something expresses in your own chart. So if this doesn't quite resonate with you, you may want to consider a reading with any astrologer. I also do readings, but whomever you feel called to work with is perfect and aligned, because there may be something going on in your chart that is suppressing this vibration and energy, or modifying it in a way that allows for this general description that I've given to you to not really resonate. If it fully resonates, or if you're open to exploring it, I encourage you to do that this solar phase. Remember, there's a spotlight on your emotions right now. Your emotional realm is spotlighted. And again, especially for you, while the new moon in Sagittarius happens the day after the solar shift happens, this is a powerful time for you. This is a time for you to really allow your heart to speak to you, and to really dive into where in your life this is showing up. You want to watch that moon reading for the new moon in Sagittarius. All right, let's get into your card reading. If you haven't already taken a few deep breaths, called in your spiritual support team, and opened your heart to receive the guidance that's most aligned for you, I invite you to do that at this time. All right, moon in Sagittarius, let's find out what card is for you. Ooh, the Knot of Isis. Energetic stabilization with the buckle of the beloved. Okay. Let's see what. So I'm going to read just a little bit from the beginning of this, and then we're going to go into the little affirmation poem that they give us. Okay. Each person has their own unique spiritual blueprint, with particular skills, talent, and higher destinies unfolding that use their unique attributes. Part of your spiritual blueprint is a special relationship to the energies of the goddess. This means that not only do you have the important spiritual task of helping her thrive in this world, but you are afforded her power, her protection, and her abundance too. You are now deepening your connection to her. Okay, wow. Let's talk about that first. I think this is beautiful. I celebrate you and this connection to the goddess. You're here for the spiritual reason to support the feminine, to support the goddess energy, to support the yin vibration, the subtle, the from nothing comes something, the womb energy, the creative force and vibration. You're here to really embody and champion that, and working with her. And however you see this feminine archetype, so whatever belief system you currently have, go to the feminine archetype within that system and start to work with that energy. Start to research it, start to do ceremony and sacred practices with it. Whatever you feel called to this solar phase, to work with this feminine vibration, you're being invited into a deeper relationship with that. And she's saying that this is part of your spiritual journey. This is the spiritual reason for your being here. Big, beautiful. And it makes sense because your emotions are fire. Fire is spirit. Your heart really is a spiritual flame. And the goddess is showing up for you in your heart and saying your spiritual reason for being here is to honor the heart of the goddess. Powerful. So here's your little, I call it an affirmation, your little poem to recite. I would say it in the morning and at night, but you do you, however you feel called. So you're going to want to write this down. I recommend to do that if you're on YouTube, put the captions on and just pause this video, like every few words, pause, and then write it down. I'll try to read it so that it's easy to write down, but sometimes that's not possible. All right. In conditional love, I call forth the Isis knot. I am held in love like a babe in a cot. Buckle of the beloved has me secure as my energy field now does mature. The goddess within my body and soul, the knot of Isis helps me grow whole. Yeah. Woo-wee! I love this deck. It's powerful though. Makes sense that the Sagittarian energy wanted us to bring it out. Okay, so how does this relate to your freedom? Oh my gosh, my beautiful moon in Sagittarius. Your freedom is linked to the strength, the protection, and the embodiment of the feminine energy. Through that embodiment, through that expression, through that understanding and awareness and deepening of a relationship with, you are going to find and be led and be protected on your way to a freedom of expression that is beyond which I think you have been able to experience or even dream of, which is something for the Sagittarian energy. You know, we're idealistic as a generality, and to say that it's beyond your idealism is kind of hilarious, but I feel that that's true. It's a feminine embodiment that's beyond that which you are able to comprehend at this time. And working with this knot of Isis, this buckle energy that she talks about, is going to help you move forward into a free, expressing state of being. Wow. I'm tapping in to see if there's anything else here I can offer you. I think this is it. Work with the feminine, repeat this affirmation, and express your heart as much as you can. And anytime your heart gives you the signal of, no, I resist, I don't like, I hurt, whatever that is, listen to it, honor it. Remember, oh, this is telling me, this pain in my heart is telling me I've walked away from truth. I've walked away from the feminine. Okay, I'm open. Goddess, show me the way. And again, go to the feminine vibration and energy and archetype that exists within your own belief system. You could be going to yin energy. You could be going to a particular goddess. You could be going to a female ancestor that you really have a bond and a connection with, okay? Let yourself be guided to what really resonates with you here. Please reach out. Please let me know how this resonates with you. Please let me know what questions you may have, how I can support you through this embodiment and through this time. I'm so very excited for you to learn about this goddess energy. I myself set the intention with a new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius to no longer be ashamed of my sexuality, my femininity. And I have been having such a breakthrough in understanding what the feminine energy and archetype really means and what it means to embody that and work with that. So if you want to know more about that, please reach out to me. I can give you my perspective from my own personal experience if that feels aligned to you. Woo-wee. All right, my beautiful moon in Sagittarius. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for your aiming at truth and your embodiment of this feminine archetype. I'm sending you love. And as always, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors the universal light within you. Namaste.